The Walking Dead, the good old classic story about zombies. This used to be a really good show, since season 1 to 5. I think those were the prime seasons of The Walking Dead. But when should the show have ended? I ask this because, as of now, we have so many spin-offs. Spin-offs that are continuing, and etc. The universe is expanding, and there's clearly no end in sight. I wouldn't care much if the spin-offs were enjoyable or really good, which they're not. And today I'm going to talk about ways I think the show should have ended. I have two ideas in ways the show should have ended. I will explain my thoughts and the endings. They might be corny, but hey, it's better than what we're going to get. Now the first ending will take place in Season 8, Episode 16. After All Out War. This is a possible ending a lot of people agree on. A lot of people agree this could have been a stopping point for the series. But for now I'm just gonna explain what I think happens in the final minutes. We're gonna go over Negan and how he would be dealt. Negan would be imprisoned and he would see how much better the world is without him. This moment would be similar to Negan in the comics. Negan would be cast out and kicked out of the Alexandria. Maggie would come looking for him. She'd want to kill him, but it'd be just like the comics. She would see how much he suffered, and she'd let him suffer alone. And at this point in the future, he would be forgotten by humanity. Different types of leaders like Rick, Ezekiel, Aaron, Maggie would take care of areas where people can be safe and the zombies would no longer be a threat. We'd see how much the kingdom has grown in power and how much older the characters have gotten. We'd have a moment with Maggie and her son Herschel. She'd be guiding him and even explain stories about Glenn and Herschel back in the days. We'd see a much older Judith wearing Carl's hat. She'd be trained by Michonne on how to use a sword, and she would soon take out the mantle of Michonne's sword. Then we'd get a moment with Rick at Carl's grave. He'd apologize to Carl. He felt like he failed him, but at least he was able to accomplish Carl's dream in making a new civilization. That is pretty depressing. Moving on to ending 2, this is an ending that will make a lot of sacrifices. We would not have Negan or the Saviors, but I'm pretty sure it'd be worth it since this is a much better ending. It takes place in Season 5, Episode 12. Rick and the group would finally arrive at Alexandria. The camera would zoom in on Rick's face. He'd let his guard down, hearing the sounds of children laughing, playing, as he realized their suffering will now fully end. The camera would fade to white and we'd see a much older Rick wake up in bed. We'd see a much older Carl reading a book to a older Judith. Carl would have a beard and he would obviously have the hat. And of course he'd have 2 eyes since Season 6 wouldn't have happened. Rick would step out of the house. We'd see all the characters older. We'd see Glenn and Maggie with their son. Rick would get up to a high point. He'd look around at Alexandria, seeing that the home that they built, they will live there forever. Now, I know these endings are kinda cheesy, and we'd miss out a lot of things, but I think for the show's quality, I feel like it would be best to end it around Season 5, maybe Season 6, but I think it would be best to end it on a high note. Now I ask you, the viewer, how do you think the show should have ended? Do you agree with me? Do you not? Whatever the case is, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts in the comments.